Dan and Daygo is checking in, and boy, am I in a great mood. And yes, it's partially because I'm 1 week away from embarrassing Herbert on his show. Look at them air quotes. Apparently it's his world and we just live in it, everybody. But also because Dan and Daygo became Social Dan over the weekend. Fernando and I had a blast at our friend's wedding in Tijuana. Shout out Jessica and Mike. And the best part was, well, besides the food and the booze, let's all be real, there was no Gilberto to kill our mood or my buzz with his negative views. I pity that man. One day he'll become a true compa and get invited to social gatherings with Social Dan, a little more refined Dan. But that stitch gets no sympathy from me, especially not right now. We're 1 week away, August 17th, from Dan and Daygo versus Gilberto. I bet Gilberto is trying to come up with some desperate attempt to cancel Dan and Daygo. Impossible. Won't happen. Can't happen. But TikTok, Captain Hook, I'm like the crocodile coming right after you. And time is running out on Gilberto and his 15 minutes of fame on the TikTok. He's going to try and cut my mic like CM Punk when he dropped that pipe bomb. It won't happen. Can you believe that he went viral off a Justin Herbert video only because my saint of a brother said hello to my MVP quarterback? What a vulture that Gilberto is. But enough of Gilberto. It's going to kill my buzz. It's time now for Compas on the beat. And I got to say, my brother and that Stitch have been bringing the heat on the podcast. They've gone Anthony Lynn, Daniel Popper, Uncle Joe, and Adrian Garcia Marquez on the show in the past month. So if you haven't done so now, you better subscribe to Compas on the Beat on YouTube, Apple Podcast, Spotify, and turn on notifications. The NFL season is quickly approaching. You don't want to miss what the Compas are cooking for the 2021 season. And don't forget to leave a comment under every YouTube video of Compas on the Beat. Shout out Z Motions saying Dan and Daygo is effing electric. Big shout out. Be like Z Motions, get in them comment sessions. Listeners, I want to see dozens of comments about Gilberto not liking avocados and his terrible fashion choices, like wearing white jeans to baseball games, his terrible takes on movies. Sorry, scratch that. His garbage take on movies. How dare he? Let him hear it. Also, let us know how we can improve the show. Do you want more of Dan and Daygo? Do you want more movie reviews from my brother? Less Gilberto? I know that one's going to be rich. I know there aren't any complaints about our amazing guest lineups. For this week's show, we got the compa from Huntington Beach, the man who's been styling and profiling at training camp, riding in his convertible with great California hair, El Jefe, Jeff Miller, Chargers beat reporter from the LA Times. So it's tres compas on the beat this week. But enough chit-chat. Let's get to the best damn podcast in the universe. Play the music, Nando! Welcome to Compas on the Beat. I'm Fernando Ramirez, Chargers beat reporter for Sports Illustrated. With me, as always, is my co-host and tag team partner, Gilbert Manzano, Chargers beat reporter for the OC Register and LA Daily News. What's up, bro?
Fernando, I don't think I like the what's up, bro, because I just saw you less than 12 hours ago. We've been spending a lot of time together because, as you know, football's almost here. Not quite yet, but there was a cool Chargers FanFest at SoFi Stadium. It was great to see the people out there, Chargers fans. There was a rock concert of the Offspring. But we spent a lot of time together, Fernando. I think you got home like at midnight. Yeah. You know, we got food together. Overall, good day. But I'm seeing a lot of you, man.
There was one special Charger fan in the crowd that has Gilbert's heart. He's won his heart over. I feel I can't even say that with a straight face. Oh my God. Yesterday was a day of mixed emotions. I think it was just nuts. Like Gilbert and I last year, like we've told you guys numerous times. I mean, we literally were at SoFi last year and it was like a ghost town. We would walk in,
go straight to the media room or to the press box, and it's like you'd say hi to maybe one or two workers, and that was basically SoFi employees, and that was basically it. Like we would like the only interaction we would have was with like with each other, because not even opposing beat writers were traveling to the stadium and everything. So it was really something unique. So yesterday was a lot of fun. There was a different atmosphere. There was a lot of people there. It's funny. Gilbert's like, "Hey, let's go check out the concert real quick." And we walk over. There's a lot of fans. It was like literally 1:00, and there was two guys like falling over each other. Like it was pretty interesting.
Yeah, some drunk guy and like leather jacket from the 1970s with long hair who looked like he used to
Slipknot,
be a drummer, for some band that nobody's heard of. Almost bumped me and hit me while I'm trying to check out the Offspring on stage. I was like, damn, like already. But it was cool to see so many fans are like, I kept telling you I wanted to go to the concert. Like I was trying to say, let's get us some tickets or whatever, VIP passes to get there. But we went to get food at Lazy Dog Cafe. Your brother I'm gonna blame it on him. Dan and Daygo lollygagging, so we didn't really get to experience the concert. But I wanted a little view before we got to the scrimmage, and it was wild to see a bunch of fans on the staircase trying to get the overhead view of the concert, and then how crowded it was in the plaza, and you saw nothing but powder blue jerseys. Sunshine gold to be exact for the Chargers colors. And I think it was a great, smart idea by the Chargers to have a concert, the Offspring, at the same time, well, not at the same time, but before the scrimmage, to kind of welcome the fans back. So overall, it was a fun event. Just to, like you mentioned, it was cool to be out there with fans, and we got some shout outs. So all we hear is Compas, keep it coming. I love that. I'm waiting for the day somebody tells me Dan and Daygo sucks, Team Gilberto all the way. That's coming one day, I feel like. But it just, I love the love and appreciation from Chargers fans that say, hey, we love the podcast. We love it. Keep doing more. And that's why, you kind of get on my nerves sometimes with the what's up, bro. But people like us talking together and interacting. So it was cool to kind of get that feedback once again from the stadium.
Yeah, I know, and it's funny, Gilbert. It's already been 10 practices, and I have not heard one Dan and Daygo sucks. It is hilarious. Like, people love them, but going back to that, yeah, no, it's honestly funny because in one of those, when the at the halftime of the scrimmage, that didn't need to be as long as it was long, but hey, that's Brandon Staley has a plan. He knows what he's doing. But in one of those, like a fan starts pointing and waving and stuff like that. So I'm like turning around. I'm like, who is he trying to find? Like, is he trying to find somebody or like what's going on? And he's like pointing at me, and I'm like, me? He's like, yeah. He's like, what's up, bro? Compas. And he starts like waving and stuff. And I was like, oh wow. I was like, okay, hey, how are you doing? I was like, what's up, bro? From far away. And then he's like, where's Gilbert? And that's when I walk over to Gilbert. Gilbert, his boots, man, they really turned on him. He was wearing some boots. He thought we were going to be sitting down the whole time. We were actually standing down by the field, which was, by the way, it was pretty cool. If you could put Chargers PR, if you're listening, if y'all could put a desk down there, somewhere where I can plug in my charger, I'd be down to sit down there and work from there. That was a pretty cool view. But obviously that's not going to happen. But I walk over to Gilbert, who was sitting on this, like, on the side, on this, like, little side railing thing, and I turn to him, and then Gilbert turns and waves at the fan. That was a lot of fun. I think it's awesome when fans during training camp are saying hi to us. They're calling us the Compas. Some guys really do go, what's up, bro? And I'm like, what's up, bro? If Gilbert's not there, though, I won't say it just out of respect for Gilbert, because I know Gilbert loves it. It's Gilbert's thing, so that's obviously why I don't do it. But like, I'll give you a what's up, bro. Like, it's pretty cool, and it's been a lot of fun to finally interact with fans again. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, obviously they're there to watch the Chargers, but the fact that they listen to Compas and people from there was a fan from North Carolina a couple of weeks ago, some other fans from like Oklahoma that were like, oh yeah, we check you guys out, we love the show. We're like, oh wow, like, you guys don't know how much that truly means to us, because Gilbert and I started this as a pipe dream. Like, we were like, oh, let's see how it goes. And it's literally snowball affected, and And really, like when fans reach out to us and they tell us they love the show, that just means a lot to us. And we literally are having so much fun doing this.
Yeah, no,
Honestly.
and overall, it was a very fun day yesterday. But as you mentioned, I wore the wrong, footwear. I wore some boots, some Doc Martens. I'm trying to try a new look this year, and I thought, okay, we won't be at training camp just standing the whole day in the heat. We're like Dan and Daygo likes to get on us. We're gonna be royalty yesterday on Sunday and be in the press box. And I thought I'm gonna chill out, sit down and be okay. But we got to be on the field the whole practice, which I shouldn't complain because I love that close view to be up there and be next to the Chargers players in their uniforms. Like it looked like it felt like a game day atmosphere. We walked in. We were doing a bunch of TikToks about it, but we walked in and we got to finally see the video board from the field. Like it was massive. Walking around was pretty cool. But overall, next time, I'll bring myself a water bottle, and bring some Nikes, and I'll be ready for on the field SoFi Stadium. But overall, it was a good time, and what was kind of the best part for me? It was a lot of energy and excitement. For me, it was to see Derwin James out there, 33, and his fresh white uniform crop top. Made me feel out of shape with the 8-pack, but to see him finally get the opportunity. I know it's not a real game just yet, but to be on the field after missing all of last year with a knee injury, not to be at SoFi, he finally did it. He said it was a special moment for him to kind of dig his cleats into the field, and you could tell he was having fun out there. And he had an interception, which I guess doesn't count, but overall, it was cool to kind of see 33 out there having fun because he didn't get to have that a year ago.
Yeah, no, and it's funny because I posted a video before practice started of Derwin warming up and everything, and fans are like, Derwin, please just have some fun, try and be loose, and I mean, that's the thing is that fans I know are very nervous about Derwin and his injuries because of his history. But Derwin said, man, I'm back to being Derwin James. I can't play slow. I can't do that. So Derwin, it just plays high at a high level. So that's just what he's going to do. And that's who he is. So definitely good to see Derwin back on the field. And he makes a difference. Justin Herbert, quarterback. He's never been out there with fans either. But real quick, Justin said that Derwin makes them better. They didn't get to practice a whole lot last year, Gilbert. So really, it was it's been the first time that Derwin and Justin have kind of gone at each other, and Derwin really helps Justin realize, hey, I'm going to face some tough safeties. I'm going to face some tough players, and going up against Derwin, Joey, and Kenneth Murray really helps somebody like Justin Herbert out. And it was funny because I told Gilbert before we went over to the press conference, I'm like, watch, people are going to be going crazy for Herbert while we're like talking to him and trying to interview him. And lo and behold, Justin walks over. He's getting ready to speak, and you just hear MVP, MVP. I'm like, there it is. I'm like, the fans want to see their quarterback, and they got to see their quarterback.
But you know what? I'll give credit to the fans because we were kind of dreading the whole idea of having the fans hanging out
in the backdrop.
It'll be too loud, or recorders won't be able to catch everything. People saying, "Hey, Justin Herbert, look this way." But as soon as Herbert went on the mic, people, had respect for their quarterback, and he let them answer questions, let them talk to the media, and then after Herbert had a bunch of T-shirts for the crowd, launching them, into the stands. So it's probably
sidearm.
Yeah, sidearm. So it's probably pretty cool to kind of catch a shirt pass from Justin Herbert. So I think overall it was a great atmosphere. Hopefully everybody behaved and no fights. Yeah, you always see that at events, but I think overall it was a good atmosphere at concert. And yeah, Justin Herbert is the fan favorite. So that kind of hearing the MVP chance was pretty cool for him. And just to see Derwin and Justin Herbert going at it, it's pretty cool because yesterday I kind of tweeted, hey, here's some good, because we'll get into right now the injuries, but like here's finally some good news because the kickers were missing field goals as well. So it was kind of like, okay, it's kind of becoming a downer on the field, but Derwin James made an amazing interception, and people were like, is it a good thing that Herbert's throwing interceptions? I'm like, let's relax. Like, Derwin James is going to make interceptions on any quarterback in the NFL. The biggest thing here is that Derwin James is healthy and he's back to his usual self from 2018 as a rookie when he was an All-Pro. And we kind of all wondered, knee injury, foot injury, can this be the same Derwin James? Like, I'm kind of worried about that. This summer, he quickly silenced that doubt because he's making dynamic, explosive plays. And yeah, he's doing it on Justin Herbert, but you want the best of the best going at it. But overall, Justin Herbert is okay. He's making plays out there, connecting with his tight ends, wide receivers, the offensive line. So I think, Herbert and Derwin James, who are, I think, the leaders on both sides of the team on offense and on defense. I think those two guys will probably be a shoe-in for captains when that comes around in September. But to see those guys going at it has been pretty fun.
100%. And I saw a picture that they posted, the Chargers did, of Derwin and Justin together, and I'm like, wow, QB1 and literally QB2, QB1 of the defense. So literally, those are their two quarterbacks on the field and everything. But it's interesting because I have yet to see. I mean, maybe Gilbert, I'm wrong, but I have yet to see a reckless pass from Justin Herbert. Like, there hasn't been anything where I'm like, oh, wow, like that was a reckless play. Usually he's been touched down, and that's when he makes those like throws where, I mean, it might get intercepted or whatever. But I haven't seen a throw yet where I'm like, oh, wow, like that was a bad play. But that's not, I mean, that's just something that I had to get out there to Gilbert. But
yeah, but if you think about it, this is a time of year where you should get a little wild. Like he knew he's already touched. If the play is over, it's a sack. You know how in football you get a free play, and like Aaron Rodgers does that all the time. Like, okay, that guy jumped, let me throw it up just in case and see what happens, and you could eat the interception because there's a flag. In practice, nothing's gonna happen. You got touched. Let me try that out. And yeah, he's throwing interceptions in that way. So you're right. Like, they haven't been like these like really bad plays. A couple of tip
last
balls.
year.
Yeah, like last year, like that first one on Melvin Ingram when he came out. But hey, you want to make those mistakes, get him out the way. So there's been a few interceptions, but overall, he looks like the same old Justin Herbert to me.
100%. And you know what's funny? I mean, you guys who have been following us for a while, you guys know that Compas got your back. We try and give you guys the best info and everything. Man, yesterday, Gilbert, we were right there, right place, right time when, I mean, and obviously it was bad, but Justin Herbert sends throws a pass to Jared Cook, and Kenneth Murray tackles him out of bounds. Kenneth starts crawling on the ground, and you're like, oh, wow. And he starts like grabbing his leg, and I'm like, ooh, could it be like something that the late great Kobe Bryant had towards the end of his career? Could it be something like that? And you're like, and then he's like he grabs the turf, and he like, I don't know, it just didn't look good. And he's able to, Kenneth is able to get up. He starts walking around. They take off his cleat, and in one of those, he starts trying to like get back into it to see if he feels good. And Ty Long asked him, we're standing right there. Ty Long asked him, "You good, bro?" And then he just goes like that. He's like, "Yep," like basically telling him, "Yeah, I'm fine." So that was a little nerve wracking, I'm sure, for Charger fans and for the Charger staff. And then obviously, real quick, Corey Linsley walks right past us and heads to the tunnel. And he had his left shoe untied. So Brandon Staley said foot injury for Corey Linsley. He said ankle for Kenneth. And he said if this was a real live game, it would be a different story if those guys would have came back. But the Chargers decided not to bring them back in yesterday. And after that, really, the Chargers kind of went a little bit tighter on Joey. Didn't get that many reps after that. Brian Bulaga was taken out. So you can see the Chargers really wanted to limit those big time injuries for their big time players.
Yeah, seeing Kenneth Murray on the ground in pain and kind of hitting the field, and you could just see it on his face that at first it didn't look good. It kind of just sucked the air out of the whole environment at SoFi Stadium. And I'm looking at you like Fernando, this team can't catch a break. Here we go again. Another big injury in the summer. What is going on with this team? Like, they always get you with this, hype and expectations, and people are excited, and then an injury kind of deflates everything. But it looks like we're not doctors here, but it looks like Murray is gonna be okay because he started. I think he had his ankle taped, right ankle taped. Tom Telesco went to go check in on him. He kept saying, I think I'm good.
I thought Tom Telesco could have been in the Olympics competing.
Coming over.
Yeah.
And then, but the kind of the good sign was like he didn't really leave the field right away.
No.
He put on the cleat again, like he wanted to go again. He started walking around, and you know what? He's like, okay, time to take a seat. So I think he'll be okay. I doubt we'll see him in practice for some time, which is okay because this is the time of year you want to kind of take it easy. And then, you see Corey Linsley walking right past us into the tunnel with his left cleat untied, and we're like, oh, boy. But then we saw Corey after practice, hanging out with his family. So he looked like to be okay. So, it could have been a lot worse. It kind of took some of the air of the environment, but I think those two guys should be all right. But you just really want this team to be healthy for week 1 because they've go through it every single time.
Yeah, no, definitely. And the good thing about Kenneth, I looked into his eyes when he was walking past us, and you could see the ferocity, the him furious, like his eyes looked angry. So I'm like, okay, he's fine. He just looks like he got dinged up a little bit. But Kenneth is a young player. I'm sure he'll bounce back quick. He'll feel that today, though. He definitely will feel that today. But I'm sure he'll be fine, like you said, and we saw them after and everything. But Kenneth was listening to the defensive signals. He was doing all that, so he definitely he should be fine. But it was just like you said, like you're like, oh no, not another one, not another. And I mean, it's funny because you've been there, Gilbert, and every you were there for Joey, right? No, you weren't there for Joey. You got there for Derwin's last two. Yeah. So I've been, like I said, I've been around since 2013, and since 2013, it's been Danny Woodhead, offensive lineman, Jason Verrett, all those years, Keenan Allen, like, and it really like Hunter Henry. It really sucks the kind of the momentum off of the Charger. It really goes from being like a nice little like Pirates of the Caribbean boat ride to here come the winds and everything's blowing you through and the lightning starts striking and everything. So it literally it just takes a turn for the worst, to be honest.
Do you want to know who's rocking the boat right now? It's the 3 kickers on the Chargers, man. That was, I don't know what that was yesterday. But I'll say this.
That's
here in the Boo Birds for Michael Badgley is not good for him, but it was kind of cool to get that environment of the fans being really into it. Like they're aware, like, okay, let's not do this again. Kickers, make your field goals and scrimmage when there's not, fast paced people coming at you. But yeah, the boos are really loud for Michael Badgley when he came out 4-7 to start off, being first. And then what was Vizcaino? I think he was 4-6, I think.
4-6.
So not too much better. And then the rookie Kessman 2-6. So for his series, but they kind of traded after that a little more. Badgley came back and made a 55-yarder, so kind of recovered. But it's an open competition, man. Like nobody's taking the lead. I try asking Brandon Staley, hey, Badgley went first on the field goals. Does that mean he has an early lead on the competition? He said, no, Gilberto, my full name. And I know what you're trying to do there, trying to, get me to say something. I was like, hey, I'm just trying here. And but he said it didn't mean anything. The rotation is going to switch a lot. It could be Vizcaino first one day, Kessman first the other day. But it feels like we're nowhere near to settling that competition into preseason rolls around when it gets a little more intense. But yesterday it wasn't that good, man.
Yeah, no, I'm 100% with you. You know what? I really want to applaud Charger fans yesterday because at one point when the kickers were kicking their field goals, they were making noise. The Chargers kickers need to be able to I mean, you need to realize that you're going to be in stadiums where it's Denver, where it's other places like that, Las Vegas, different places where they're going to be loud. You're going to need to kick, you're going to need to psych yourself into it and not think about the fans yelling and everything, and just make sure you make your kick. But that's the thing that's going to be very tough about who's going to win this, because the SoFi Stadium is beautiful, but you're at a disadvantage, in my opinion, when you're a kicker and you're inside of a dome stadium, because you're going to go to Kansas City, you're going to go to Denver, and you're going to go to some of these places where it's hard to kick. It's going to be cold. It's going to be windy. It could be rainy, whatever. And it's going to be tough to make some of these kicks. So whoever they decide to choose, and that's what I said yesterday. I joked, and I'm like, if they literally combined all 3 of these kickers into one person, they'd be the perfect kicker. And it really, that's how it is. Kessman can hit the 50-yarder. Tristan has a strong leg, and then Badgley can hit from within 45. So definitely, I mean, these guys just, I don't know what's going to end up happening with this kicking situation, but it's gotten off to, like you said, a very shaky start when it comes to all 3 of them.
Yeah, it's been rocky, but we'll let the preseason decide for the kickers. But speaking of who's going to win this competition, I think I'm gonna win a week from today. Danny and Dago's finally gonna make his appearance on the show. There's no ducking. No one's gonna cancel Danny boy. You're gonna come on the show, and I'm gonna win this competition. Clearly, we don't need multiple training camp practices and preseason. You're gonna come on my show, yes, my show, The Rock Show, and you're gonna be embarrassed, ridiculed, and laughed out. Out of Fernando's room or whatever you're gonna be doing this from, and go back to reading promos. But I just wanted to plug the grand fight, the special fight, the king of trash talking. And 1 week from today, August 17th, on Compas pay-per-view, which is free, by the way. But subscribe.
Oh my God. What I've been having to endure lately is hell on earth, I think. It's so funny the way like yesterday, we're still in the stadium and stuff, and I hear something. So people were talking about something, and I hear Gilbert say Chick-fil-A sucks or is overrated. And I'm like, oh crap. I'm like, why must you say that? So I had to relay to Dan and Daygo what Gilbert said, and he was not happy about that. He's like, the Lord's chicken. And so they start on the way from the stadium all the way to Raising Cane's where we had dinner. They were arguing about it the whole way and just going back and forth and back and forth. And I'm like, dear God, is this what my life has come to? That I get the full force of it. Both of them arguing on the way there about what's better and everything. And it was just, I couldn't stop laughing because both of them literally have not, except for that they like alcohol. I think that there's been no point of them agreeing on something. So it was just hilarious to hear them talk about what was better.
Yeah, I don't do this on purpose, man. I just don't like things that Dan and Dago likes, and I do strongly believe Chick-fil-A is overrated. It's pricey. They're small portions, and they're closed on Sundays. Like, what is that about? If I want chicken, I want to get it on a Sunday. And you know who offers that on a Sunday? My people at Raising Cane's, where we went to yesterday after the scrimmage, and I saw Dan and Dago enjoying that Caniac combo. So he's lying through his teeth. He knows Raising Cane's is much better than Chick-fil-A, and it was only cost him $12. You go to Chick-fil-A, you get a little sad sandwich with a little pick on it, and the one good thing they have, see, and we don't like that either, but that's what they're known for. The one good thing Chick-fil-A has is they have a good amount of sauces. They're diverse with that, but it's kind of gets me mad because the portions are so small. They want to try different sauce. I already ate the food and I spent $20 on it. So Dan and Daygo, I'm already fired up. We're gonna talk about it next week, 1 week from today. Make sure to watch it.
You guys honestly need help, and I'm not the psychiatrist or psychologist that you two need. But my God, these two argue about anything and everything. And yesterday I saw a tweet that said, "Oh, Tim Tebow made a pretty good grab against I can't remember what safety it was, but I just started laughing and I'm like, oh my God." So Gilbert obviously has to throw out there while we're eating, "Oh, I haven't heard anything from Tebow." I'm like, "Oh, I actually saw a tweet," and they both get excited to see what I was gonna say, and I'm like, "Oh, that he made a really good grab." He's like, "You see, you're gonna owe me that bottle of whiskey or whatever." And then Uncle Joe calls me and we start talking. He can hear Daniel in the background. And he says, "Tell your brother that I want this kind of bottle of whiskey." And I'm like, God, I have to get it from that angle too. So then I tell him, and he gets all fired up, and he's like, "You two," or he's like, I respect both of you, but you guys are gonna owe me a bottle of whiskey, and I'm gonna drink it, and it's gonna be beautiful. So I'm honestly excited for when the 53-man roster lineup comes up, because it is gonna be funny to see all your guys' reaction, how it goes. And if he really wins this, you guys are in for, you don't know, you're in for it. Like, he is not gonna stay quiet about it, and it's gonna be funny.
I'm not worried about it. He's not. He won't. I guess maybe he will make the roster. And like I said, I need a few games because I know he's buddy with Urban Meyer, and maybe he'll do him a favor to make the team. When the real games come on, he's gonna be exposed and be out of the league by October. Joe Reed is feeling so confident that he said not even the 53-man roster. So and Joe's seen a lot of football, so he knows. But we'll have Dan and Daygo a week from today show, or tell us why he believes in Tim Tebow, and we're gonna finally hear it. and then I'm a counter argument and say why he's wrong, and kind of give you a preview of what's to come when Dan and Dale comes out. We're gonna, debate. We won't get all crazy like the people on Undisputed and whatever on ESPN. It's gonna be, two people who don't like each other, and we're gonna in a controlled environment and argue, about what's better, for music, reggaeton or country music, better drink, tequila or whiskey, why avocados are terrible and why some people who are, delusional like them. So you're gonna be the referee, special guest. Hopefully you got a t-shirt for being the referee, Fernando. Cut off the sleeves, and let's get it on a week from today.
God, this is gonna be a nightmare for me because either way, I'm gonna have to hear it. But yeah, no, definitely, it's gonna be exciting. I'm looking forward to it because I feel like I'm the only person that's gotten these arguments. And one time at Korean barbecue, I got it with Uncle Joe and Gilbert against my brother. So he holds his own, and he holds his own pretty well. But I want to talk about pay raises, Gilbert. And I mean, obviously, like you and I aren't in a position for that. I'm not talking about us. I'm talking about Buffalo Bills quarterback Josh Allen gets a 6-year extension worth $258 million with $150 million guaranteed. That means he's going to be making $43 million per year.
What were the numbers again? Is that
6-year, $258 million contract?
Okay, yeah, we need a raise, Fernando, because that is some good money. It is $43 million a year. Imagine that.
Oh my God, it is incredible. What do you make of it first off? I mean, what do you feel like it's a little premature? Do you feel like it is? Do you feel like he deserves? I mean, obviously deserves. I mean, we're not the kind of people that decide that. But what did you make of it? And did you feel like the Bills made the right move?
The first thing I thought about when Josh Allen made his money, I thought about Justin Herbert, obviously, because I cover the Chargers. I'm like, okay, in a couple of years, Herbert's gonna be making way more than that. And you think 43 million annually is a lot? He's gonna be touching like 55 million, 60 million. I don't know if things are getting better after the pandemic and the NFL is bouncing back. It could be in that range. I think Patrick Mahomes is still the highest paid quarterback, correct? I think around 45 million.
Yeah.
But in terms of Josh Allen earning it, I think he had such a great year where he put the talent and the skills together on the field, because it was a rough start for Josh Allen. I remember that rookie year was pretty bad for him. Year two was still kind of mixed emotions or mixed on the field, but he put it all together in 2020, and he looks just like Justin Herbert. It just took him a little longer to figure it out than Herbert, and obviously he's a little more head than Herbert because he's been in the league for 3 years, and he was an MVP candidate, and he took the Bills to the playoffs, and he really earned that. It's just it's kind of like a gamble because you only saw 1 year of it. Like, you start thinking about Jared Goff and Carson Wentz and how these guys get paid, but you got to pay your quarterbacks. That's the thing. You don't want to be in a situation where you don't have a quarterback and you don't know who's going to be your quarterback. Like, you look at what's going on in Houston, and there's things that are complicated, but these quarterback battles like Denver, you don't want to be in that situation. So pay the guy and make him happy, and maybe pay him early. It might be better for you because it's going to keep going up and up and up. But I just we're talking about this, Fernando, but these big arm quarterbacks are kind of taking over the NFL. Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, and now who knows with Trey Lance, people are just kind of raving about that rocket arm. So today's NFL, you're 6'5", you're a little bit mobile, you got a cannon for an arm. So I think Josh Allen fits that mold of today's quarterback, and I think he does deserve that contract.
It's funny. I remember analysts were like completely like poo-pooing him when he was coming out of Wyoming. And I think Josh Allen was a big reason of why I thought Justin would be a very good quarterback in the NFL, because he's coming from Oregon, yes, they made the national championship a couple years ago and everything, but it's still not the same. So definitely, I think Josh deserves this. If they can if they can fix that defense, and if they can get him a solid running game. Did they get Travis Etienne from Clemson? No, that was Jacksonville.
Jaguars, yeah.
Okay, so they didn't get Najee Harris. Oh wow,
he's Pittsburgh.
Yeah, so I'm wondering who they got for running back, but that's neither here nor there. But if they can help with the run game and they can get him a defense, they should be a lot better now. And they got him Emmanuel Sanders. He has Cole Beasley. He has obviously Stephon Diggs. You have a good receiving core. I thought there were going to be, because when Hunter Henry decided to sign with the New England Patriots, I thought the Bills and the Chargers were going to fight for Zach Ertz. And I saw Zach Ertz fitting with either one and being able to do well. But I thought if the Bills get Zach Ertz, that really elevates them to it's them against Kansas City, basically. But obviously that still hasn't come into fruition. Ertz reported with the Eagles. But yeah, I thought exactly like you. I wonder what that money is going to look like when Justin Herbert is up. Is that going to be a 6-year, $300 million contract? Is he going to sign something that massive? That's going to be really interesting. Because I really don't think if he signed a $300 million contract, that would change Justin Herbert. I really think that he's chill guy, relax. Just, I wonder what that kind of money would do. I don't know. It'd be really interesting. I remember a couple of years ago when Philip signed his extension in 2014 or 15, we're like, oh, what'd you do to celebrate? He's like, I went down the street to Domino's. I picked up, and it was a disgusting, I think it was like jalapenos and, hold on. Black olives, jalapenos, and mushrooms. Something weird. And then I was like, so you got one pizza for like your whole family? And obviously Philip was like, no, that was just a pizza for me. The kids had already eaten, and Tiff had was going to put him to bed. But he's like, I literally show up to pick up the pizza, and the guy's like, hey, you just signed a huge extension. Congrats. And Philip was like, oh, yeah, thank you. He's like, can I have a pizza now? And gives him the pizza, and Philip goes back home. So it was just, it's congratulations to Josh Allen. I really want to see what the Bills are going to do this season. But one thing that I really want to see, Gilbert, is who we have next. I'm very excited about who we have next. Do you want to go Dan and Daygo, or do you just want to go straight to El Jefe?
I already cut down Dan and Daygo's promo reads. He's a 2 per show, no more 3.
All right, then. Coming up next, we are going to have El Jefe, Jeff Miller from the LA Times, joining us in the main event of Compas on the Beat. You won't want to miss it. Gilbert, I'm going to say some very nice things about our next guest. I hope he doesn't tell Uncle Joe and Daniel Popper about it, but this compa hails from Huntington Beach, and he has the best car among all Chargers reporters. He's also the fittest because he's done countless marathons, and he's El Jefe. That, of course, is Jeff Miller, Chargers beat reporter for LA Times. Now, Jeff, we saved the best for last. We now have had every Chargers beat reporter on Compas on the Beat. How does it feel being the main event?
I feel like you're making that up because I actually was the last person you could possibly want to put on here. I think that's the truth. So I appreciate the kind words, but let's be honest. You reached a point where you had to put me on. So I'm going to take it though. I like you guys, even if you may not want me on your show. But here I am. So let's let's try to make the best of this if we can.
Not true at all, Jeff. You get special treatment everywhere. I see the special treatment at Chargers training camp. That Miata, the red car that Fernando mentioned in the intro, you're parked on the field practically. You get the best parking spot at Chargers training camp. So, we see the special treatment. We want to give it back to you being the main event. But Jeff, we all love the car, the Miata. We need the backstory once again. We kind of know it, but I want our listeners to hear, what year that car is and how you kind of came about it.
That car is the first year the Miata came out. It was like, I think it was like 90, 91, something like that. Anyway, my best friend bought it. And he actually, at the time, to give you an idea of how crazy it was back then, he had to order the car and wait like 6 months to get it because it was like this new thing that nobody in America had ever seen before. So he had the car, had it for a few years, and then got married, had started having kids. The thing only has 2 seats, and it's about the size of like a Matchbox car, so you can't really have a family. So it sat in storage for a long time, and then I bought it from him. I don't even know, 10 years ago or something now. So it's like 30 years old, 31 years old or something, and it has like 80,000 miles on it. So it's 30 years old, but it's almost like brand new. So I appreciate the fact that the Chargers allow me to park so close. And the truth of the matter is, let's be honest, okay? So people will tell you why I get to park where I typically can get that spot. It's because it's right behind the media tent where we are, right? So it's right there. but right next to it is the porta potties for the media. and there's a little hitch that sticks out from the where the porta potties, the trailer the porta potties are on. That hitch actually goes into that parking spot next to it, and so it's narrow, but that Miata is so small that you can squeeze it in there. That's the reason why I'm usually the only person who can park there. So that is the story of the Miata, and I appreciate the fact you acknowledging my cool car.
Oh, we had to, Jeff. I mean, I'm always like, when I get there before you, rarely, but whenever I do, I always try and hitchhike with you, because I know that you got the better spot. See, Gilbert and I, when we show up, we go for the spots that are open, because we're like, what if we go all the way? The first day we went all the way down, and they told us, sorry, no, like there were some spots open over here, and the security told us no, to go somewhere else and park like where the fans were parking. I'm like, I'm not gonna go park all the way over there. That's way too far. So finally, they let us park where we naturally do, but I'm like, you know what, we got to find the early spots, so that just in case if we don't find anything down there, we're secured.
Hey, Fernando, let me tell Jeff the story on that, adding to that first day of chaos. Yeah. Jeff, I haven't told the story just yet to anybody, but when you had your nice parking, you were there early, Jeff. Fernando and I came late. We're a little bit we're slacking there a little bit, but we came late.
I had to print a parking pass for somebody.
That too. And we had to park somewhere kind of, across the field. There was a nice parking spot, but it was across. You weren't really supposed to be there. It's for people with, season tickets and coaches. So I'm shouting with the security guard, can I park there? I kind of pulled out, do you know who I am kind of thing? Let me just park there. And I finally get there. And Fernando's telling me, no, go around. So I'm like all frustrated, and I back up without looking, and I almost hit a truck. And guess who's in the truck? Chargers quarterbacks coach Shane Day. So I almost hit his truck on the first day of camp. I'm like, oh man, I can't believe I almost hit that truck now. But it was chaos. We got there, Jeff, and I'm glad you had the better parking spot that day as well.
That would have been totally awesome. What a great story for all of us to have had. That's it would have been a way for you to actually meet and talk to a coach in person, which would have been kind of almost worth running into him, right?
It would have been it would have been a story for all of us. Shane Day would have had to have spoken that day, and first question would have been like, Coach, do you have insurance? How good is that insurance? But Jeff, you've been covering the Chargers beat for a while, but you used to cover baseball for many years for the OC Register. I think now this is your fourth season covering the Chargers. How was that transition going from a baseball beat writer to now a columnist and NFL reporter?
Yeah. So I was a baseball writer. That's how I kind of got started back a million years ago. And then I was a columnist for 20 years in Orange County, just doing all kinds of stuff, all sorts of sports. And then toward the end of my career here, I got all of a sudden I'm back doing beat stuff again and doing football, which I had never done because there was no NFL team here forever. So in LA. So I didn't write much about the NFL. Literally, there were years the only NFL game I went to was a Super Bowl all year. I'd go to one game; it was a Super Bowl. So I did that a few times, but it's been fun and it's been different. Obviously, this is something that I didn't think I'd be doing anymore. But you don't usually go back to being a beat writer after you've been a columnist. But that's just the nature of the business, and I got laid off in Orange County, and I wasn't wealthy enough or old enough to be able to retire yet. So I had to do something, and I fell into this job at the LA Times, and I'm really fortunate. And I'm not just saying this, but guys like you two guys are getting to hang out with you guys. You've made it a lot better and a lot more. I have a lot more fun than I probably should be having, because this can be a grind. It can be a tough job. I think we got a pretty good beat. The guys, everyone gets along for the most part, and I think we all respect each other, and we have our little moments, but everybody does. So it's been interesting, but I enjoy it, and literally, I mean, you guys have made an old man feel a little bit better about my lot in life here. I could be a sour old curmudgeon-y guy, but I try not to be.
What's funny, Jeff? Technically we're supposed to be rival newspapers, so I'm supposed to not like you, being for the Orange County Register, LA Daily News, like it's the LA Times, but somehow we're friends, and I'm glad that you're on the beat, with the LA Times, and you do great work there. I shouldn't give the shout out to the LA Times because we are rivals, but I love your work there, Jeff. and I'm glad you're on the beat. But you've been doing this for a couple of years now, or I think 4 years technically. I got there, 3.5 years ago, so we kind of been together on this ride as well for the Chargers. But it feels like every time it's July or August, and you start looking at the roster, Joey Bosa, Derwin James, and there's always sky high expectations for this team. And there's an injury or a blown game, and they always kind of fall apart. But Jeff, do you feel like expectations are a little higher this year than usual because of Justin Herbert and the new head coach, Brandon Staley? And are you buying that expectation, or do you have a good amount of concerns for this team?
Yeah, I think the expectations, I think, are much higher. With what Justin Herbert did last year changed everything for this team. Just imagine if this was Tua, or this was if Tyrod Taylor hadn't gotten hurt and we didn't know anything about Justin Herbert, and now he's a rookie and we don't know what he's going to do. Or like I said, Tua, where you have questions of can this guy play? How's this going to go? Things would be really different around here, and they're not. I mean, everybody. It's kind of crazy. Like I think the expectations are probably a little too high, just given the fact that they've missed the playoffs the last 2 years, and there's a ton of unknowns with the coaches and how this is all going to go down. And so it's probably a little extreme, maybe on the expectations front. But it's interesting. The one thing I hope Charger fans appreciate is this team. For as long as I can remember, it has always been they've always had expectations. It's never been a situation where it was like, okay, this is a total rebuild. Team's got no chance. This is just kind of going to be a lost season or two while they kind of get resituated. Well, that's really hasn't been the case for the Chargers in a long time. And I don't even, Fernando, the history a little more of this franchise than I do. I don't even know the last time that would have been the case, because it's because of the quarterback. They've got Herbert now. They had Rivers forever. Before Rivers, they had Breeze. So really, go back to when
2003
Breeze first got here. They've had the one spot that's the most important, where you feel like, hey, we can win with this guy. You can win big with this guy. So I think hopefully Charger fans appreciate the fact that, maybe I know they got frustrated with Phillip a lot, and that you can understand why, the way some of the games, the way some of those games ended. But, he always gave him a chance. And there's always a reason to be optimistic when you have the quarterback, when you have a guy at that most important position. So I think that's why the expectations for this franchise have always been high, at least, in the last couple of decades, and there's no reason for that not to be the case now. But I do think it's probably a little extreme, because we know guys are going to get hurt, and that depth is going to be tested, and that's when you find out how good these teams really are, is what they've got planned behind a lot of those starters, because some of those guys are definitely going to get hurt. We all know it happens to every team.
Yeah, Jeff, there is a theme for the Chargers having good quarterbacks: Drew Brees, Phillip Rivers, Justin Herbert. But the other theme of the Chargers, bad offensive line play. They can't protect some of these guys. But I think this year they might have figured it out. But I feel like every year they kind of, they tweak it. They get some free agents, they get hurt, and it just doesn't work out. But I feel like it's a different kind of reload, drafting. That's the biggest thing, drafting a guy in the first round, Rashawn Slater, which they kind of ignored the left tackle position a year ago. Adding him, spending money on Corey Linsley, Matt Filer, Odi Abushi, and still having Brian Bulaga, who was a free agent prize from 2 years ago. But do you feel like that group could gel together and maybe solve that problem that they've had for years of protecting the quarterback?
Yeah, I think they have a really good chance, and we'll see what happens with Slater. But I mean, the early returns on him from at least practice, he looks good, and it's gonna come down to health again. We already know. I mean, Brian Bulaga is every snap you're kind of wondering. I mean, he just is kind of on. It seems like he's in a bit of a bad luck, or just whatever the situation is with him. He's just he's trying to keep it together. They're trying to monitor his reps and all that. So it's just, the thing is with this team, they're like all teams that when one guy goes down, look at, at the SoFi Stadium practice, Corey Linsley goes down and leaves the field. And, Scott Questenberry, he's, God bless him. He's a veteran now. He's been around a long time. He can play, but he's not an all-pro Corey Linsley. And all of a sudden you look, and those positions, when a guy like that goes down, they get really thin really fast. So it's going to come down to, again, trying to stay healthy and trying to just, as far as like gelling and all that coming together, I don't think that's going to be a problem. They're all veterans except for Slater. They played a lot and they know how this works, but there's going to be moments where they're going to need some of those second guys to come in and keep it together, and we'll just see if they can do it. But hopefully it seems like they've taken a little more serious this time around and trying to rebuild the line and invested a little more. So maybe this will be the year that they get a few breaks with injuries, and we can see what a good offensive line looks like.
Yeah, no, definitely, Jeff. And it like you mentioned it right now. I mean, Drew Brees, Phillip Rivers. It's kind of crazy that they landed Herbert so quickly after Phillip left. Did you think that this? How long did you really think that this quarterback search was going to go on after Phillip left? I mean, there was so much uncertainty. Like, did you think they would strike? Would lightning would strike again for them in the quarterback position?
It would. You'd think no way, right? I mean, who's that lucky? But they, think about, if the Dolphins had taken Justin Herbert, and then I assume we all kind of probably assume, right, they would have taken Tua.
Yeah.
And who knows where that would be right now. So they got a break there. It seems like when the Dolphins decided to take Tua, and Herbert was sitting there just waiting for him. So I don't think anybody, who would have bet that? Right. I mean, Gil, you've worked in Vegas. Like, what would the odds have been? They're going to
very slim.
They're going to lose. And, a year ago at this time, we were all writing about the transition between Phillip and Herbert, right? Because we thought it was going to be Tyrod Taylor for a season, and then we know what happened there, and all of a sudden Herbert emerges as this superstar, in the making. So, no, I think again, I just hope Charger fans, as much as they and understandably lament, the injuries and the history of these tough losses and how they have never won a Super Bowl and all that. There is a thought, and maybe it's almost a karma thing where this is what you've got. We keep giving you a quarterback, so you don't have that frustration. I mean, just think of how many NFL cities out there, and all they talk about is how they've never had a quarterback. Well, the Chargers can't say that. Chargers fans can't say that. So I think they're really fortunate, and I think they, especially with what Herbert did last year, everybody on that organization understands we got something here. We got to try to win like right now. That's why this team's very interesting. They're not content on just being a pretty good team, and they're trying to win the next couple of years here because they've got a young quarterback on a rookie deal. And this is the time that, and we know that in the NFL, this is the time to try to win is right now for this team.
Yeah, especially because Josh Allen just got paid, and just going to keep on going up and up and up. But all right, we all know Jeff knows the Chargers. That's obvious from his fine stories and reporting at the LA Times. But Jeff also knows long distance running. Jeff, you've been, like we said, you've been all over just covering teams in different cities and everything. What's your favorite city to run in?
Wow, that's the first time anyone's ever asked me that. Which is my way of stalling to try to think of what.
That's what we bring at Compas. We bring those kinds of questions where we're going to make you think.
Yes, you guys do. You're excellent at that. There's so many good ones. Everyone loves San Francisco. Everyone loves Seattle because you can run on the water. You can run, get in some hills and stuff. Those are great places. What I love doing is I love going, if I'm in St. Louis, I run through the Arch. If I'm in New York, I run to Central Park and run through Central Park. Wherever I am, I try to if there's something to see, I'll try to go do that. If there's waterfront, I'll always try to run toward that. So, those are a few of my favorites. So, we'll see. First trip is to Washington D.C. and hopefully that morning of the game, I can get. I've spent very little time in D.C. So my goal for that trip is to get to run by some of these monuments and stuff. Some stuff I haven't seen. So maybe if we talk during the season, maybe my answer will change, and maybe Washington D.C. will be the greatest place ever because that'll be a new experience for me.
Gilbert, what's funny? Real quick, last year Jeff and I both went to Cincinnati for Game 1, and Jeff, Cincinnati obviously is not the kind of city where Jeff is talking about, like New York and all these other places. Man, when he talked about his morning run that day, he made Cincinnati feel like it was such a beautiful town. He's like, yeah, I went along the riverbed and I did this and that, and like it was so nice out. And I was like, oh wow, like he really painted a picture that I was like, oh my God, it sounds like Cincinnati's a beautiful city. But I mean, obviously it's not up there, but the way he paints it just really like paints a picture in your head.
Yeah. Jeff,
I
was gonna say you make me feel like out of shape sometimes, because you tell me every time I just went on a run, and I'm like, Jeff, how are you waking up so early and still going to Chargers practice?
It's funny. So this is like one of my little pet peeves that I have about this is like you hear these stories. We all have written these stories, right? Where we write that the guy wakes up at 5 a.m. to go work out, and he's working out in the dark, and this is unbelievable how serious this guy is. Look at this guy. He's no wonder he's a champion. So whenever I've written those stories. So we all have. Yeah. But all I would say is if you go to a 24-hour fitness, like anywhere in a decent sized city at 5 a.m., there's people in there and there's people like me in there, because that's the only time you can work out. You've got to get up early and work out in the dark, because otherwise you'll never do it. So, there's a lot of people doing that, and I don't want to make it sound like I'm something amazing, but I get up early. I'll get up when it's still dark and do my thing. But part of that is because I'm so old now, it takes me forever to get warmed up and get loose. And I have my own little activation period I have to go through. So it's just, some of that's a concession to being old. And then the other thing is, I know that if I try to go to camp and work and then I try to work out after that, there's no way it's going to happen, because I'm going to be falling asleep. So
there's players who have their crop tops. The offensive linemen don't. That's how I feel. I'm on the offensive lineman side. If Jeff was a player, he'd be the Kenneth Murray, the Derwin James with the crop top up, like showing it off, because that's how Jeff is. I'm joining my buddies on the offensive and defensive line that don't like doing that, because they know they ain't got nothing to show.
Well, let's be honest. If I was on a football team, I would be the kicker at best, and there's no way the kicker does not show up with a crop top. So I would, for the record, I would not have a crop top.
Gilbert, I think he wants to talk kickers. I think that's what he's trying to do.
You know what? Yeah, we haven't even asked him about kickers or Little Pickle. All these topics that Jeff loves. So how about we do a rapid fire question? No stalling, like on the question about the favorite city to run in, Jeff. So let me give you, on top of my head, 4 questions. Answer real quickly. All right. Okay. Better city, Miami area or Los Angeles area?
Miami.
Who's winning the Chargers kicking job?
Tristan Vizcaino.
Best sandwich place in all the world?
Little Pickle, baby. 100%.
There you go. And one more. Who is the greatest baseball player you've ever covered?
Mike Trout.
Boom. Rapid fire.
See, I got the old man's brain still can kind of go a little bit. But I'll be honest with you. I'm getting a little sweaty palms. I wasn't sure what you're going to ask me.
I was real quick. I wasn't even sure myself. The last one was like, oh, baseball.
I was sure I was going to choke at some point there and get totally tongue tied. So,
Jeff, before we let you go, you showed us something before we jumped on here. Show us that view. We keep on seeing it, but we need to see that view.
So I need to ask you guys, you young guys, tell me now if when I do this, am I flexing or is this drip?
You're flexing. You're flexing.
Is this flexing?
Oh yeah.
So so drip is more of like, what is that?
Drip is like when you're wearing like fashion. Swag, like fashion. Okay. That's drip.
Derwin James has drip.
Yeah.
Okay. So I have so we can safely say I have no drip, but
you can flex.
This is my flex right here. So I'm going to do this. And, oh boy!
Dang.
Look at that. See that, people?
That's nice.
Respect your elders. See that?
Ladies and gentlemen, Jeff Miller of the LA Times. Jeff, thank you so much for jumping on Compas. We truly appreciate it. And let fans know where they can find your awesome work.
Well, I appreciate you guys having me on, and I won't take it personal that I was the last choice that you
main event.
So maybe if we keep going, maybe week 17, 18, whatever, maybe you can get me on one more time. LATimes.com. We have a Charger blog, which we're trying, like everybody, to try to get as much coverage and so you can go and look at our live blog. I don't know why we call it live, because all blogs are live, aren't they? But anyway, it's that's where if you click on that, you go there and there's a page and you can find our blog. It's got the latest stuff on there. And then Jeff Miller LAT is my handle, right? Say on Twitter.
There
I don't
you
know.
go.
You guys tell me. You guys are doing this, so I'm just kind of
Jeff, we're flexing, we're dripping, we're doing all that. We love it. Thank you so much, Jeff.
Thank you, guys. Have a good one. We'll see you out at camp.
All right, Gilberto, you've been caught. I know what you did this summer. Our good friends at Brewery X in Anaheim hooked it up with their fine beer selections, and you didn't share with Dan and Daygo and Fernando? Does this sound like a compa, everybody? You took cases of their fine Pilsners, Hazies, and hard seltzers? Come on, Gilberto. You got to share that Brewery X product because they have the best beer in all of Southern California. But that's okay. That's okay, Gilberto. I'll be heading to Brewery X in Anaheim soon. And listeners, you should too. I'm telling you, this is the place to be. Brewery X in Anaheim has the best atmosphere for these summer nights. I hope they have close parking for Gilberto over there, because let me tell you what he did on SoFi on Saturday when we went to watch the Chargers scrimmage. My lord and my liege the whole way was complaining about how far he had to walk. Well, forgive him. The royalty over here can't be bothered taking a few extra steps, even though he's going to be in the shade the whole time. But that's all right. Now let's get to Una Mas, presented by Brewery X in Anaheim. I hear Fernando has more movie reviews, and he's giving out fresh avocado ratings. Meanwhile, Gilberto is eating rotten avocados and watching dating shows. What's this guy doing? But anyway, let's get to the best segment in all of podcast land. Una Mas!
There you have it from Dan and Daygo, Brewery X. Obviously, good friends of the Compas. Now that we're starting Una Mas, I'm sorry to disappoint people out there. I know they love my avocado movie reviews. I'm sad to say that I haven't been to the movies in a while. I've been in training camp mode. I know I need to go. I will be going to the movies pretty soon. But I'm sorry to disappoint, but I don't have that today, Gilbert.
Wow. I am, just crushed they don't have avocados to give out. I was hoping this is a week where you kind of gave a bad review and like you just crushed me. You know what? Here's a rotten avocado for you because you've been so terrible, a director, filmmakers, or whatever they are. And I was kind of excited because you've been giving out a lot of fresh avocado ratings lately on these movies and TV shows. And I was hoping I could hear about Ted Lasso, which I haven't watched. Season 2, we should together and kind of do that one together because we both like that one. But you know what? I got ahead of the game. I even watched Suicide Squad. I thought you would be all over it, and I won't say anything because that's your thing. But yeah, go ahead, Fernando.
No. It's one of those things where I've been in like training camp mode and like literally, I'm not lying. I go to bed at 7:30 at night. And I'm waking up at 5:45. Last night I didn't go to bed till 1:30 because we got back. We talked to my sister for a little bit and we hung out and everything. And at 1:30 I go to sleep. I wake up at 5:45 and I'm like, why am I up? And I was up. I had there was no way for me to get back to bed, so I was like, okay, whatever. I'm up. So I was in training camp mode. But Friday's our day off before the preseason game against the Rams. So Friday I will be going to the movies. I may watch a double feature of The Jungle Cruise with Dwayne The Rock Johnson. And there you go. I'm gonna go watch The Rock, and then I'm gonna go watch John Cena and Suicide Squad 2.
There you go.
So there you go. I'm gonna go watch both of them. I'm gonna check out each of their movies. I'm excited about that. But Gilbert, I got a question for you. You're straight up guy. I know you blue collar, you work your tail off, you do a great job at what you do. You do a great job for the Orange County Register and LA Daily News, and you do a great job for with Compas. But I gotta ask you, bro. There was a report out that Quavo. I know we're getting in the rap game now. Quavo's assistant makes $5,000 per day. Gilbert, before I got some math right here. Before I give you the numbers, would you quit your job and become an assistant for Quavo or some artist for $5,000 a day?
I would have easily said hell yeah. But then I think I saw the video that Quavo posted, and the guy's just holding an umbrella and a fan, and he's just holding it on Quavo's face to make sure he's cool and there's no sun in his face. I'm like, that sounds kind of boring all day to hold an umbrella. It's kind of a little beneath me, I guess. I feel like, I don't know, like just to
Wait,
kind of do that. I don't know. Maybe Quay was a nice guy and he doesn't make it seem like a big deal. I need to get interviewed by him and kind of feel like, is he like too much of a diva, or is he kind of a cool guy? But the money is really hard to pass. I feel like eventually I'll cave. You know what? Screw it.
so Gilbert's he's trying to bury and then try and plug Quavo to come on Compas. That's interesting. But I got the numbers. I got the numbers for you. You ready?
All right, let me hear. Maybe I'll change my mind now.
All right. In 30 days, you would make $150,000. In 30 days. In 1 month, you'd make $150,000. Per week, you would make $35,000.
Okay.
Are you ready? Per hour, you would make $230.
Okay, that sounds pretty good.
Per minute, you would make $3.47.
Okay.
Per second, you would make 6 cents. In 365 days, you'd make $1.825 million.
All right, when you said over $1 million, I'm quitting my job. Yeah,
you'd be moving up tax brackets.
Yeah, I'm out of here. I might even move to Las Vegas or Florida, so I won't be paying taxes. That's where it matters for me. I won't be doing Compas. I'm just gonna be chilling.
Oh no, you still do Compas.
No. I'm making $1 million. Why would
when you stayed home from school when you were a kid, did you ever watch The Price is Right?
Yeah, every now and then.
Yeah. Okay. Do you remember the yodel?
I do not.
Okay. Do you remember the game where the guy, like, they would guess on prices, and if they were like, it would be a little yodeling man, and if the goal was to not knock it over, you had to make it as high up the mountain as you could, and if you did, you'd win a car, you'd win this, you'd win that. That's how life is, Gilbert. The tax bracket. You wanna climb. You wanna make it. You wanna fall over, Gilbert. You're right now in the middle, probably in the middle. Don't you want to yodel and try and make it all the way? Can you imagine? You'd be in a different tax bracket.
Well, yeah, I just told you after.
And you'd be living in Florida or Texas.
Yeah, if I'm a millionaire, I'm doing it, man. I don't know if I'm even middle.
I know who your roommate would be if you'd moved to Texas or Florida.
Who's my roommate? I would have a roommate if I'm rich.
I know, because you'd want him there.
Oh no, that guy can live in the outhouse. Never allowed inside. Only time I'll go hang out with him and get in a drink together. That's
there you go.
Kind of decent.
You know what? He could be the assistant to Cam, your pit bull. He could be Cam's assistant.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, if I'm rich, like, I'm an assistant to Quavo, and then I have my own assistant. Like, it's just like a pecking order, you know. That's kind of.
Can you imagine? Like making $5,000 per day to hold an umbrella. It's just, when I saw that, I literally was like, Quavo, number one, you're a boss. 2, you're creating jobs. 3,
oh yeah,
that assistant, I've been around agents. I've been around all kinds of those, and yeah, sometimes you see the craziness that they have to go through. Like, I remember I was interning at an agency, and I remember when I was in college, and I remember a certain player called. I'm not going to disclose names. He called and he's like, "Hey, so like my girlfriend found out about my a girlfriend that I have on the side. Like, can you help me out?" Like, it's crazy the stuff that like players have to. And then another guy was like, "Hey, I'm on my flight right now, about to land in I think he was like landing in New York. I need a car service now." And like you had to call and get the car service, and it's just like, dude, what? Like, this is madness. So it literally, when you're an agent, when you're this or when you're that, you're in for a hurricane of favors. But for that kind of money, heck, I would reconsider everything.
Yeah. I guess when you say all these random kind of tough tasks, I don't know how much it appeals to me. But all you want to do is, as long as you're having fun with your job and you're making rich, that is the goal. If you're doing it with, like I said, you're doing it with somebody that you really like or have fun with, and they treat you right, those kind of being an assistant, those type of jobs, they're not a problem for me. I feel like assistant
to the regional manager.
There you go. You're the Dwight Schrute of whoever's going to be your Michael Scott. There you go.
Yeah, exactly. Before we go, there's something I have to mention, And when you're compas, when you're friends, you don't try and like leech off of somebody and get fame on certain social medias with something that a certain friend does every single time that a player comes up to the podium. But Gilbert he fed off of it, and he has now gone viral on TikTok because of his compa right here. Gilbert, take it away.
I was waiting for you to call me out, and you know what? I shouldn't feel ashamed because I did give you credit. I said you are the person saying hello to Justin Herbert in this video. The only place I didn't mention it was on TikTok, and it went viral. People didn't want to see your name in my post, I guess, and it kind of just it blew up. But I should maybe go in the comments and say, hey, that voice is Fernando Ramirez, to give you some credit that way. Hey. But so if you haven't seen the video, you probably have, because I'm not trying to brag, over 380,000 people as of Monday have watched this video, and it's just a simple video of Justin Herbert saying, how's it going, guys? And who he's responding to is Fernando saying, how's it going, Justin? And that interaction, that whatever 5-6 seconds clip, I caught it on my camera, and I think maybe Fernando might be a little jealous because he's a camera guy. This guy has his camera, fancy 3 lenses. Me working for a newspaper, I can only afford the 2-lens iPhone. So your videos come out better, and also to give you credit, you have that camera out ready to go whenever something happens. You're on high alert. You are the best when it comes on the Chargers beat to having the camera. But for once, I got the best of you because you're so busy being a nice guy and having manners and saying hello to the quarterback that I took out my phone. Great interaction between you two, and I went viral. And I am a TikTok star today. And I told you I had this journey of being a TikTok star a few months ago, and it's finally happened. And it's kind of a good thing that you helped me get there along the way, because we are compas and we help each other. So there you go.
I wonder when the check is going to come in the mail. Is it going to come in the mail? They're going to Venmo you, or?
I need a lot more followers still and views and likes. So keep helping me, and then a check will come.
There you go. What's funny is that I feel I'm always the one that greets the players. Like when they come up, I'm like, hey, Derwin, how you doing? Hey, what's up, G? Or like stuff like that. Or like other player, like Corey Lindsley came up the other day, and I'm like, hey, Corey, how you doing? He's like, good, thank you. And like, I don't know. I just feel like, yeah, it's a press conference, but it's cool to like say hi to them and kind of tell them like, oh, hey, how you doing? And so I don't know. I just think it's funny though that like 6 seconds and you got about almost 400,000 views. That to me is hilarious.
And I'm gonna plug myself now. There is a part 2 of How's It Going, guys, from Justin Herbert. And you know who's asking him hello again? Fernando. So I did it to you again. I'm gonna post it later because me being a TikTok expert, I'm gonna post it during peak hours, like around 7 p.m. People are off of work and they start scrolling.
Oh, I never thought about that.
Yeah, they see. You take my classes. I was teaching you yesterday how to do the
and Gilbert actually was teaching me yesterday. I just want to let you all know I'm on TikTok.
Yeah. So is it real?
Oh, it's the same as my Twitter, same as Instagram at Real F Ramirez. I did 2 videos yesterday. One, I was so hard, like I felt like a little kid with Gilbert in one of those because I posted an Austin Eckler one, and I had like 4 views after 2 hours, and I was like, Gilbert, I only have 4 views on it.
I'm like, it takes like time, a little kid. Man. Be consistent on TikTok, and the algorithm will find you, and you're gonna be the NFL reporter that everybody wants to go look at. And then, well, what did you do today? You posted another video, and that one's doing much better. So keep
yes, it was,
man.
In about an hour, it was at 117 views. So hey, the climb can only go up from here. So I'm definitely gonna get a little bit more involved. It is a little bit fun, like to kind of post those, because you can have fun with it. So I'm definitely I'm the first student in the Gilberto TikTok class. So I'm definitely the first student, and I'm learning a lot.
Yeah, so I'm gonna do the infomercial where you're gonna say, hey, like Gilberto Manzano changed my life when I went on TikTok and I became a star. So you want to have your life changed today, hit me up and take my class. I still haven't decided how much I'm gonna charge, but you will learn a lot. And also make sure to follow me at gil.sportsbeats on TikTok, because I do need those followers to go up too.
It is hilarious that like I have all three social media platforms, in the same with the same and you have all three with different different names in all three platforms.
Yeah, you know what? Maybe I should change it, but I just never got. I've never been happy with one of my usernames because I don't know. I just feel like maybe somebody took the one I wanted, and I could never. I don't know. I could never.
I like your
decide.
Twitter one the best
G Monsanto
because
24.
I'm a Kobe fan too, so
Yeah. Okay.
I like that one the best.
Yeah, I'll go back to that.
Yeah, no. And everybody today, obviously, Chargers are in full swing, practices and everything. Don't forget to go check out our stories. Like we had some really good stories. Last week, Gilbert had some interesting stories. One with Asante Samuel. What other things did you have last week, Gilbert?
Yeah, what did I have last week? Oh, my story on Donald Parham. You know, which you don't like too much about because you were on the Donald Parham train.
That's why it said.
But I saw you write a story about Justin Jackson being on your 3 trending up, and it kind of picked up in the fantasy world. And I told you that Justin's gonna be number 2, so we're kind of stealing off each other.
Yep.
What else did I have last week? Well, I had a kind of a good story on Derwin James being at SoFi. I feel like.
Oh yeah.
But there's more to come. So just follow me on Twitter at gmonsan24, a different handle. And I tweet all my stories there, and just check them out. Also, I have a new a newsletter that I need all you listeners to subscribe to at the Orange County Register. It's called Notes and Bolts, and that's where you can have a one-stop shop for all my stories with some analysis. So make sure to subscribe to the newsletter. It's free. I need that base to grow up for subscribers. So if you see me tweeting about it, which I will a lot, I say, hey, sign up right here. Make sure to sign up to the Notes and Bolts newsletter.
There you go. You have it. I had some stuff about Chris Harris Jr. and Derwin James are going to be positionless players. They've been learning from each other about the other's position. So that was a pretty fun story. Got some other things in the work. I had 3 up, 3 down for players right now in training camp, and I'll have some more stuff coming out this week, but we definitely appreciate you guys rocking with us. We love it. If you guys are at training camp, let us know. If you guys are at SoFi on Saturday for the Chargers Rams preseason game, let us know. If we're walking by, say, what's up, Compas? What's up, bro? Or the Compas, or whatever you guys want to shout out. We definitely appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. But for right now, you know what? I'm going to go try and find a $5,000 a day paying job. But as I said, for right now, Gilbert, vámonos.
Ya nos vamos, pues vámonos.